Happy Thursday. And it's going to be one of the best ways as we have this awesome fall podcast for all of you. So my next guest is so talented and so many assets. She's a hairstylist, a podcaster, a lover of film and TV, and most importantly, just a great friend to many and a great family member to all. But having said all of that, we have the great Taylor Droney coming on the show. Taylor, it's great to see you. What's up?
Hey, it's going good. What's up with you?
I've been good. It's really great to see you. You know, go way back from
it's been forever.
Yeah, but you know, even this crazy pandemic we all experienced, it's nice that we come up with ways to rekindle old relationships such as this one right here. So
absolutely. I also think like age helps a lot too. When we're younger, we were like, oh, we can't talk to people that we haven't seen in forever. We just have to be like nervous around people. And it's like, no, actually, we can be friends with everybody.
Wow, you're already starting with the gold right here. I know exactly what you mean. Seriously, this life is clearly too short to let things go.
That's exactly it.
And if you really haven't figured that out in the last year and a half, you need your head examined.
You're screwed. That's it. If you haven't figured out that like life is bigger than just you, I don't think we can help you here.
No, we can't. And that's why we're here today, getting this opportunity. And, you know, just with the power of social media and always support each other now, on the show. And I'm so excited to introduce you to my audience and most importantly, catch up with you. So this is really good. So I'm really glad that this all came together.
Me too. It was a nice surprise.
No doubt about it. So why don't we start with this? So we met out in the not infamous, maybe infamous for some, but West Rocks Middle School, late 2000s. I know it's daunting to say that. That's where it all starts. And I mean, not to date ourselves, but
where did you go to elementary school?
I was a Cranberry Elementary School kid.
I know, but I feel like we did like sports together. I feel like the Norwalk sports was even bigger than just West Rock. So
oh yeah, it does make sense.
I've known you forever.
Right? Did you go to, this might be a dope question if I'm wrong, but did you go to St. Jerome's Church by any chance?
Yes, that's what it is.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is. I'm pretty sure we're in the same Holy Communion.
Oh, absolutely.
Jesus brought us together.
Oh, Father Dave would be so happy right now.
Oh my God, so happy. I haven't been there forever though.
That's okay. Jesus still loves you, right?
Exactly.
You know what my favorite Father Dave memory I had? One time in I guess around middle school, I was just trying to be funny, and I asked Father Dave, "Hey, Father Dave, is it a sin to listen to Metallica?"
Well, if it is, then send me straight to hell.
He literally said it is, and for a good like 2 years, I tried to avoid it, but then I was like, "But this music's too hard."
Why did you think it was a sin though? Because they're just like metal?
Yeah, literally. That's a stereotype. That's not right. You can't judge people on that.
Are you kidding me? Because the last time I went there, they were making all their songs pop and stuff. So
see,
they don't need to go there with what type of music you listen to.
Right? Well, I'll go to confessions for my Metallica if I have to.
Exactly.
Literally the coolest
90% of the music I listen to.
Literally one of the coolest names of a band ever, Metallica. That's
absolutely
badass.
I wish I knew the origin story on that one though.
Yeah, I don't know it either. Maybe if I could do a quick Google.
Because I feel like 90% of like metal or even rock, it's like they put their name in a generator and like that's how it came up. Like I'm pretty sure that's how Led Zeppelin happened.
Really? I didn't know that.
Totally random, but that's how Post Malone got his name.
Yeah, I know Childish Gambino, Donald Glover was like that. He wrote his name in a Wu-Tang name generator, and look where he's at now. Part of this wall right here.
That's what we should all do. I feel like it's not going to come up good.
It works for people. And just a quick Google, according to this, the band name Metallica came from Lars Ulrich, the drummer's friend, Ron Quintana, who was brainstorming names for a fanzine that was considering Metal Mania or Metallica. After hearing the two names, Ulrich went with Metallica, so he just suggested that Quintana use Metal Mania instead.
Are you kidding me? Like, what kind of, also that friend's name is like sick as hell too.
Ron Quintana.
Like, come on, that's like some karate name.
He had to make the sacrifice. You get the cool name for the rest of your life. Let me just get this historic music act going.
No, they definitely picked the right choice with that one.
You ever see Metallica?
No, my mom did back in the day. That's the kind of thing that she'll be like, you gotta go to more concerts and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah, but it's like $500. Because back in my day, we'd go to Metallica, it was like $20. I'm like, listen, I didn't need to hear that. Like, I didn't need to hear that brag.
You got enough things we're overpaying for.
Exactly. $20. And they would go to all these concerts. And some of it was even cheaper. Some of it was like maybe $50 the highest. We're over here like, oh, to get like a far seat is like $600. You're like, for what?
Is it even worth it anymore? And the way people on social media just videotape concerts, like
yeah, you'll see it on
thing.
YouTube 2 days later. Like,
I went to Kendrick Lamar, which was awesome, but I think I paid like $140 on that.
Yeah.
But Travis Scott, you know what's funny? Travis Scott opened for him before he's Travis Scott, so it's essentially 2 headliners in one.
Oh, that's pretty. I've never had that. I went to Harry Styles, and it was a gift, so I didn't have to pay for it. But that Casey Musgraves opened, and I'm still not like the biggest on country, but she's pretty cool.
Oh yeah,
Beautiful I was like, voice. Who is this? She was like in like rainbow. I was like, what is this experience we're having right now? Like, she's just like majestic walking around the thing. We're like, who is she? And now she won a Grammy. So we're like, what?
Bragging rights. So, do you have some dream concerts you want to go to?
Well, I have a big L that happened to me. I bought tickets for this Harry Styles concert, and my sister got fully vaccinated, but will not be 14 days out. So we can't go to the New York concert. So we just took the biggest L. Because I'm like, I can't go without my sister. We planned it together. Like, that would just be shady.
Are you able to at least sell the tickets and get the cash back?
No, because they're already resold to me from another person. So I don't even have the confirmation to send it to somebody. Like, it was a whole thing. So I'm just taking the money loss. But I would love to go to Red Hot Chili Peppers. I would love to go to all the corny stuff. Like, I'd love to go to the Jonas Brothers. I'd love to do old school stuff, but literally anything. If somebody's like, hey, you want to go see this person? I'm like, yeah, sure. If I'm available, let's go. I like to just have fun like that. But since COVID, not many of that has happened.
Yeah, I'm craving for concert to go back to a show too. Yeah. I started finally going, of course, a couple years out of the pandemic, and it's been a slow time, but especially that Red Hot Chili Peppers one. That's a dream, a life dream right there. They're going on tour
next year.
Yeah, I saw that big video they had at the newscast and everything.
Total idiots.
It's funny. All they have to. Though. Oh yeah, this squad. The return of the guitarist John Frusciante as well.
Oh, thank goodness.
Honestly. The best lineup of the Chili Peppers.
Honestly, he's like so good.
They got a pick right there.
Oh yeah, I definitely do not have a poster up of them, but I have some t-shirts.
Oh,
one of my posters are more movie, TV stuff.
And we're definitely going to get into that.
In 4th grade.
The Chili Peppers, though, like they just look there. I'm somebody who watches a lot of concert videos, like on YouTube. That's a YouTube rabbit hole I'm often going under.
Yeah.
And the Chili Peppers live sets just look intense, and it's only them. It's only 4
dudes.
What
about that whole documentary about what's that big one that everyone talks about? I feel like I'm
Slane
saying
Castle.
No, it was like Woodstock or something. No, is that what it's called?
Woodstock 99.
Yeah, 99. Flea was completely butt naked.
Yeah.
And like they were like tearing the stage down. I'm like, now I know that looks terrifying, but like also what an experience.
Yeah, like if you asked most of the people who were at that concert, they probably would say like, yeah, it was awesome.
A madhouse though, like
200,000 people.
That whole documentary is very interesting about like how they're bringing the privilege of angsty white men.
Yeah, and how it was, the that's what they were the money there
No,
was
no control, no security, not enough water, not enough food. Just like one of those shit shows again. But I'm like, also, what an experience. You can say you made it, you lived through it.
Yeah, literally, especially the live through it part. I
Yeah,
mean,
with all the fires.
Yeah, that I did see that Woodstock 99 doc at HBO Max, and you know,
Yeah.
they, like you said, it was pretty obvious the crowd they go to, the angsty white man,
Yeah, they didn't
straight
go
white
there to
man,
like enjoy the music. They went there to tear
to
shit up.
rage. Yeah, when you have
Yeah.
Limp Bizkit, Rage Against the Machine, who I love, by the way. You
Love.
wonder who
You want to have fun at those things, but like also half that crowd is like totally batshit crazy. So
yeah, and then they only had 3 women act, and they did it each day. It was Sheryl Crow,
yeah,
Alanis Morissette, and Jewel. Like, come on,
yeah,
put more of an
all
effort.
iconic.
Oh yeah,
All iconic, but not enough. But that was 99, so different time too.
You'd like to think we have gone a long way since then, but sometimes it doesn't feel like that.
No. With some things, yeah, but most things, no.
Right, exactly. But yeah, the Chili Peppers, that's the ultimate dream concert. I'd love to see Kendrick Lamar again too. I really would.
All of them, like literally anybody that puts out good shit, I would love to see. The only thing I've never really gotten into is country. Everything else I like will listen to, and I and I would be able to go to a concert, and be like, yeah, I had a great time at that. Not like, oh, I only knew one song,
right?
So,
and I'm just really fascinated by these pop culture icons going through the world and all their stories.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have Sirius XM radio by any chance.
I do not.
No,
I do not. No.
Well, Howard Stern interviewed Mick Jagger today. I haven't heard it yet.
Oh, right, because Mick Jagger is. What was today though? Wasn't it some like anniversary?
Was it? I mean, they've been at it for 65 years as a band.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Imagine being one of the most famous people for that long, and I can't wait to hear a full sit down with that.
Yeah, Howard gets my tail crossed a little bit sometimes, though.
I can understand where you're coming from.
He can be a little much for me, but I don't disrespect the game. I just some things he says, I'm like, you're just being a douchebag.
Yeah,
you're just an asshole. But then some of his points, he can really get into like the deep stuff with some of his people. So
exactly, best celebrity interview. I'm personally really inspired by him. On my Mount Rushmore of both radio and podcasted personalities, but I can see how he rubs people the wrong way, especially the old Howard. But I think what he's come from, and interviews like
respect the game. Jagger. He's been doing it for years.
Exactly. So
yeah,
shouts to our radio personalities that inspire us. And the last thing on this music subject before we switch it up, is there any bands or artists who may no longer be with us, maybe retired, broken up, that you would love to see?
I wish I was Saul Van Halen.
Yeah, that original, the David Lee Roth Van Halen, or the Sammy Hagar, or both?
All of it. Just all of it. Like before he just passed this year too, so
yeah, Eddie Van Halen.
It would have been really cool to see him because he was probably like my favorite guitarist ever. So would have loved to see him. Yeah. Oh my God. And it's not what he would do is like no one can recreate that on Guitar Hero.
Never. How about the original lineup of Queen with Freddie Mercury?
Oh hell yeah, absolutely. That's that kind of my dad had this like mixed CD back in the day, and every Sunday, this is like so dumb, but every Sunday we'd go to the dump and he'd play this mixed CD, and it had like Blondie and like all these people's all this stuff, and then like 4 Queen songs, and it's like Bicycle Race, like We Are the Champions, all that kind of stuff. And then me and my brother literally learned all those songs, and we had no idea the like scope of how big that band was, because we're just like, yeah, it's on Dad's mix CD, like Queen, cool. And then
only changed the world.
As I got older, I was like, oh my God, they're like one of the biggest bands ever. And like my dad listened to it and got us into it at a very young age. So I would love to see that too. I don't want to see Adam Lambert though. That's cool.
No.
No. American Idol to this. What are you doing? And like just I totally love that they're all trying to keep the mojo alive, but like he does not have Freddie's voice. So
No, that is
can't get
some
behind
shoes
it.
to fill.
Seriously.
But
yeah, I would totally love that too.
But hey, you know, shouts to trying at least, right?
Yeah. Some things you can let go, you know?
Right. And I would love to see Led Zeppelin in their prime.
Oh my God. All of that, like all the stuff from the past. Cause now like when you watch like the award shows for music and anything, the rock is literally Imagine Dragons. And you're like,
yeah, or the Foo Fighters. And there's
and you're like, the Foo Fighters are amazing. And they're more rock than Imagine Dragons is. But like you're like, there's literally so many other people that have come out with stuff that is in rock, and you need to like bring them out into the public. They can't stop. They're calling them indie. I'm like, no, they're indie because you don't play them. Like,
literally.
Play. I think there was one year they said Post Malone's album was pop rock, and I was like, where? What?
Yeah. Why are you so afraid, people? It's more than a feeling, you know, quote Boston. But,
quote unquote.
But seriously, there's great talented music, and you'll see it, people of all ages jump and have a good time with it, but just know how this system is, just adhering to certain audiences, and it's a shame. There's so many talented people who need to get recognized, especially anyone who can actually play their instrument like a rock band.
Yeah, or even if it is like indie rock or like alternate rock, they have like less following. I mean, they have big followings, but you can see the huge jump from the stuff that is being played to what isn't being played, and you're like, they deserve just as much or more because they're putting in all this extra work rather than just making a song and like putting some tunes on the computer kind of thing. Like they are sitting there every day playing their music, and they don't get half the respect. But
hopefully we see this decade as we get out of this pandemic where we can have a new, you know, who would have thought the trap scene would have taken over the decade? Maybe rock and roll.
But I'm here for that as well.
Oh yeah, of course.
For that as well.
Of course, definitely. I love me some trap music, but you know that came somewhat out of nowhere, and you know still has an influence. Why not have rock come back in some way or the other?
Keep the circle wide open.
Exactly. So fingers crossed there. So one thing I want to know, in a time where rock was on its last strings, but it was a thing, back to the middle school days.
Oh my goodness.
Who would have? First of all, such an awkward time, such a funny time. Do you remember the way our middle school worked? There were teams. That's how they set up the classes. It was I think it was, mine was gold. Mine was green.
I was green.
Yeah, there was the gold team too. Then there was the silver and purple, and then there was
I was silver.
There was the red and blue.
I was red.
Oh, you were red. I was blue. I did the same thing.
Here's my theory on all that though. As I got older and looking back, the teams that I was on were for the kids that needed more help.
Really?
The other team. Oh my God! Red team was half the school, and then blue team was this tight little knit, and they had the better teachers. And I was like. And all my friends, I was like, right, you get straight A's. I'm over here taking the test 5 more times.
Yeah.
I have no idea what I'm doing. And silver, same with that. The silver team was like still in the 6th grade area, and it had like way more people than the purple team. I was like, hold up.
Yeah, I never noticed
I needed the help. But yeah, no, they were way like there was a smaller group and a bigger group for the kids that needed help and to the kids that didn't really need that much help. But
yeah, and everyone had their preferences. Like people, like if I remember correctly, I remember people kind of preferred the green team, the gold team. That was the favorite team. The favorite team was the
they had less shit, better teachers.
The silver team for 7th grade, and then the 8th grade team has everyone wanted the red team. I was a blue team.
I was the red team. Well, the red team, only because it was like main floor, like quick to get to those classes.
Yeah, they did put us in the corner.
Yeah, the blue team was like downstairs or in the corner. And I was like, thank God I'm not there because I hate stairs. My homeroom was like right out of the main hallway. I was like, this is perfect.
And I hit 250. See ya.
And now they have different names. When my sister was there, I think it's like
really
Alpha, Omega, and all this stuff. I'm like, yeah.
For what? That's
she
hard.
Was, and you stay in that team all 3 years. So she was in I think, Delta all 3 years. Yeah.
Team Delta.
Yeah. And it was weird. And they would have like lunch with 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. So not just like your grade. It was like everybody.
We must have had some era.
Well, I think they did. That was when she started, Dr. Moore left.
Oh, that's the legendary Dr. Moore. They've heard of Dr. Moore in other states.
I still see her around, walking around. She's like a tall giant in Norwalk. She just walks with her Uggs still. And I'm like,
hey, Dr. Moore. You know, it was funny. In the blue team, I did enjoy middle school for the most part. But I remember one time. So it was 8th grade, Mr. Sereno's class. And
that was the best teacher, and I never got him. People still love him to this day. I'm like,
I'm a big fan. He's commented listening to the show, and I appreciate that. He suggested one guest that I wasn't able to pull off, but besides that, I like seeing him. He's fun. He's a fun, like I feel like Facebook is for the older crowd, like the stereotype, but it's for that type of generation.
It did take the turn of like that's where you get to connect with your older group of friends or family.
Exactly. Then you do your humble brag after a life event. That's the step for
exactly.
that. But Mr. Sereno's class, I remember this kid, Nick Regani. He literally got kicked out for no reason.
Oh yes, I remember him too.
And I was laughing so hard because he got kicked out for no reason. He said, "You think that's funny?" He kicked me out. I remember I went to the language arts teacher, Miss Garinger, and I was like, "Hey," she's like, "Did Mrs. Sereno kick you out?" I was like, "Yeah, I don't know why." She's like, "Okay, you can hang out here."
Come sit, little puppy. Come hang out with us.
You know what I loved about Mr. Sereno's class? He would randomly show us Bill Murray movies. Ooh, we lost your audio really quick. Can you hear me? Wait. We get some technical difficulties. So we'll be fixing this real quick. Hear me now, Taylor? We'll be right back, everybody. And we're back. Technical difficulties will not stop us. And
never.
We're going to go back and rock and roll from here. So, okay. Anyways, Taylor, we're talking about middle school, all the funny things, the teachers. So you heard me about getting kicked out of class for just laughing at a kid who got kicked out of class.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I'm not surprised for that. They were pretty strict with like everything. And like, even if you were just near the problem, you got in trouble. Like I got ISS just for sitting next to somebody on a bus who did something bad.
What?
And I was like, all right, cool. I didn't say anything. I was listening to my iPod, but yeah, sure, I did it.
Sounds like an allegory for life, huh?
Honestly, they were so strict, and they were like, Dr. Moore didn't put up with nothing though. Like, so even if you were just in the vicinity of something, like that, you're screwed.
Remember referrals? People they would throw those all like candy. You didn't walk on the right side of the wall. You get a referral.
I should have kept them all and like made a little scrapbook. All the ones that I had.
ISS.
Oh my God. One ISS. I got lunch duty for a week once.
Lunch duty. Oh yeah, they used to do that to people.
And I always had to go, like, the girl I got in trouble with didn't help. She was like upset. So she went during lunch to like a person, I don't know, some lady. And I'm like, so I have to do it all by myself. How embarrassing. And I have to go around the tables, and like people are like jerks in middle school. So they would like, throw the milk over, and you're like, okay, well now I'm splattered in milk.
Oh, come on.
Like, I feel like this is from like a TV show, but this is my life. This is my life right now.
No, that person's a loser.
Honestly, I was.
Oh, hell no, Taylor, you're a legend. But you know, it's another funny reason. Another thing I remember in do you remember the famous legendary substitute teacher known as Miss Dickman?
I think so. I think I do.
She was
I
like
also remember
really
this
old.
one other guy. Like the two of them are really old. I remember the two really old ones that were pretty iconic. So I think I do remember who you're talking about.
She would give referrals like everything. It was like
You burped, and that was it. That was 3 referrals right there.
Yeah, I remember. Again, this was because I was laughing. I'll be careful my laugh. Remember,
we both laugh a little too much.
Seriously. Oh my goodness. This kid was being an asshole to the teacher, but I was laughing anyways because, you know, 7th grade humor. And same thing. Teacher's like, who's talking? And the kid in front of me, I remember the day, his name's Carlos Borges. I hope he's doing well.
Oh, yeah. No, he is. He's cool.
Oh, great to hear. Tell him I said hi. Oh, excellent. I got to do that. But I don't know if he'll remember this, but he got kicked out. He got a referral. He said, you get a referral for laughing at this. And it was my fault sitting behind. I should have snitched on myself. I'm sorry, Carlos. Please forgive me. That'd be a great podcast.
You have him on the next week. We're like, I'm sorry, let's squash the beef. And he's like, I don't remember it.
We'll do the Mark Maron podcast like that.
That would be so hysterical.
Oh, you know what was great though? Remember Nature's Classroom where they took us to, I wonder if they even do that anymore. You allowed to just take students for a week?
Oh, they do. They do.
Oh, really?
My sister went on it. Casey just started high school. She's a freshman now. So she just like 2 years ago did 2 or 3 years ago did the Nature's Classroom.
Did she like it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. She got like a bunch of them got like strep throat afterwards. But I was like, yeah,
that's the worst. I had a really bad case of that the summer 19. It was bad.
Yeah.
And then when COVID hit,
I remember our what's it called?
Cabin
had like 2 huge rats in it. And we called the cool cabin where Mr. Lippard was.
The cool cabin. Mr. Lippard.
It was like the boat house or whatever.
Yeah, I think I was in that too.
I think you guys it was like all the cool dudes were in there.
Yeah.
Of course I had you're gonna laugh at this. I don't know if you remember this at all. Okay. I had like a double bloody nose. So I was in my bed and they're chasing all these rats. I don't know. I just got nosebleeds. I don't know. I felt like it was like the kind of thing if I got nervous, my nose would bleed. So like I was like in my bed doing this and they hand me the walkie-talkie because all the moms are like chasing the rats. All the girls are like screaming. And I'm like laying in bed. I'm like, hi, Mr. Lippard. We have some rats in our cabin. And he's like, I'm sorry, speak up. I'm like, there's rats in our cabin. And you could just tell that you can hear from our end all the screaming. And then from your end, all the boys laughing hysterically. And I'm like, yeah, this is me, Taylor Droney. Yeah, I have a nosebleed too. So first aid kit would be really great. And they're like, what is happening in that cabin? Because we were the one all the way at the top, like near the woods. We're the last cabin. So they're like, what the hell is happening in that cabin right now? It's like, you don't want to know.
I vaguely remember that. Like, shoot.
It's so crazy.
That boathouse was like legit vacation place.
That was the coolest. We were all pissed. And we're like, of course, the boys get that one.
Yeah, stupid boy.
Mr. Lippard set that shit up, so he deserves it.
I remember like in the like when everyone went to bed and the dads went to bed, they would just kids would just have wrestling matches with each other.
Yeah, but we just fucked around. The moms that we had were pretty cool, but I didn't have a bunkmate, so I had my own extra bed.
One of the most profound moments of that Nature's Classroom. I can't say a person's name. I'll tell you after. But it was somebody's dad, right? And I remember there was one of these brawls that got out of hand, and the dad took me out, even though I had nothing to do with it.
Of course.
But we went to go pick something up, and remember, this is Nature's Classroom, so it's a pretty spooky woods. You don't know where you're at.
It was full woods, yeah.
Yeah, so me and him were walking, and this is the stereotypical horror movie Freddy, not Freddy, more like Jason, Candlewood Lake style.
Slenderman.
There's Slenderman, yeah. It's very dim. You can see
Yeah.
almost like it's overcast. You almost hear noises, and
Yeah.
you can almost
Yep.
see steam coming out. And I remember he was just telling me, like, Matt, listen, you have to be a man in this world. You can't let people push you around. You need to stand up for things. And if you see something wrong, you got to stop it. Because I think he had me come with him because I didn't stitch on the fight or something. But I just remember this very.
To like 20 other kids that were probably watching the fight too.
He
Like,
picked me. To be fair, like, I knew the dad, like, he went to the same high school, and his daughter's good friend, right? So it was just, I remember this to this day. And
you're like, what? You want me to go in the middle of the fight and get punched too? No, thank you. I'll be a standby. Like,
giving me this life advice, and I'll never forget at the end when we make it. I don't know why he thought to say this to me specifically. He said, "Don't let anything happen to my daughter." I'm like, what a responsibility.
Damn, thank you so much for this honor, but
yeah, I think
you should do this. You're the parent.
Yeah, she's doing much fine. I can tell you that. So, like, I just remember that in the spooky woods. We're talking about life developments. I'm 13, and
not even. We're like 12. That was 7th grade.
Yeah, exactly, 12. See,
we were like
even
11,
worse.
12-year-olds, like the worst. And that they took out the Underground Railroad.
Yeah, I remember that.
Acting thing. Do you remember Alana Cooney?
Of course, yeah. And can I just say for the listeners, what the Underground Railroad was? It was a simulation of the literal Underground Railroad. You were escaping slavery.
And running from slavers, and the slavers are the teachers and the parents.
And that's what
we're 11 and 12-year-olds. And Alana goes, when Casey was going there, Alana's like, "Are you doing that?" And I was like, "I don't think they are doing that." And she goes, "That was like low-key child abuse because we're running through the woods."
Yeah.
And we're like, we start out in like the pit of like the, what was it, the rock climbing or whatever.
Right.
And you're on your hands and knees, like fully down. And you're like, this is already stressful as fuck. Like,
and they're screaming at us. It was
and
bad.
They're like, no, stay down. I'm like, oh my God. I'm so nervous. And I was with the group. My field buddy was Matt Bird. So my group was a bunch of dudes. I was the only female. And so I was like, okay, I feel a little bit better. But they were like totally like, you're on your own. Like, we started running, like when they said, okay, now run to the woods and go into this building. And they're like bolted. I was like, you got away from me too. Like, I don't know where I'm going. It was so stressful. And then there was a part where we're in this stage area and we're behind chairs. And then they come with pool noodles and are banging on the windows and like flashing lights, being like, get out, we're coming for you. So all the guys start rushing. My hand gets stepped on. I'm like, what is this supposed to do for my mental health right now? What is this?
Oh my God.
What is this doing for me? I totally I understand what we're learning, but why are we role playing right now? Why are we actually like in this? And I don't even think where Nature Classroom was even part of the Underground Railroad. Like, there's no way that that part of Connecticut was anything to do with.
Yeah, it's not like we're in Virginia or something where.
Yeah, there's no way that part of Connecticut was like, yeah, she stood there, and you're like, what? What do you mean? Why are we doing this?
Yeah, that was a trip. Maybe and it feels like we're in therapy now, explaining the trauma. It still goes.
The trauma that our age group went through.
Thanks,
they didn't do it. They didn't do it. They stopped it. I think some parents were like, "That's enough." Our kids came home being like, "We had a really good time, except for that railroad thing." It was really scary. There was girls that were crying afterwards.
Yeah.
People we had like a therapy session afterwards. You remember that? Like, we went back to that big like rec room near the boathouse, and we literally sat and said, so now how do you feel? And we're like, we all feel terrible right now.
Yeah. Maybe you did do the right thing. In the sense that maybe you really did have a scare straight or something,
Yeah, we're definitely, but we're like, also, we are all very respectful kids about what we're learning about race and everything and slavery. So we didn't need to be scared straight. We're 11.
Fair enough. Exactly.
We're not some like kid that has been like terrible about slavery and racism.
Yeah. We know what happened. And
we were a very diverse school.
Oh yeah.
So
Very.
not 90% of them didn't deserve that. Did not deserve to have to go
right?
through what their ancestors went
Mhm.
through. I'm sorry. When you think about it, we're like, okay, I had my own trauma as a white girl, but that must have been so bad for 90% of our grade because we were very diverse.
It
Very
was
diverse.
insane. Yeah, and I think that's what I just laughed when seeing West Rocks. It really was a trip, and it was just it was funny. And I feel like there were more fights in middle school than there were in. I went to Norwalk High. I think that was the case.
I was one of them.
Yeah. Oh, did you ever get a fight in middle school? If you mind me asking.
That was why I was on lunch duty.
Oh, well, we hope you won.
No, it wasn't on purpose. She was doing this thing where she kicked her foot back and would hit people's butts.
Oh,
And I had a broken tailbone at the time.
wow, that's not fair.
So my reaction was like to do that.
Yeah.
And it hit her. And then I ran off. And then she went to the principal.
Oh,
So
what a time.
that's what that happened. But
another loser.
Totally cool with her. There's no issues. We just had a hiccup.
Of course, yeah.
My ass is literally broken. You just kick
Yeah,
it.
please don't.
I'm
please
gonna
don't.
have a reflex. Stop kicking my ass, literally.
Last things with this one or two things. Well, the other two memories I remember was one in well, it was really messed up. I remember somebody wrote a note saying like I'm gonna kill you, like trying to be funny. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah,
Like,
like
to who?
I genuinely don't remember. I remember someone was just trying to troll because we're in the woods. It's genuinely a scary place.
Oh,
Like they were trying to be.
at Nature's Classroom.
Yeah, this was Nature Classroom. They were just trying to troll because we were in the scary woods and stuff. Like some ghost is coming.
I can place my finger on the lunch table that I know would be that group that would have sent that note.
Ooh, yeah, fuck them.
I'll give you some names afterwards, but I could
Yeah.
place. If you think about West Rocks Middle School, the lunch tables, the two middle ones, when you come right out of the cafeteria, the two that are right there. And
I think I know what you're talking about.
I could place and say for certainty who I would probably put my bets on for that. But we all would do stupid shit back then.
Yeah, exactly. We're in middle school.
Yeah.
We use Desi Classified as a reference. I'm sorry, you were saying? I didn't mean to interrupt. My bad.
I was terrified of like the Nature's Classroom stuff because it was full woods. Everything like you had some teachers and some parents, but it was a lot more kids than there was like adults.
Yeah, we could have taken over.
Think about it, it probably I was like, we probably could have really had some bad issues if we didn't if we knew better, you know what I mean? Like if we were smarter, it'd be like, oh yeah, we could totally jailbreak this whole thing and like lock all the parents in one room and go.
Who would have thought? It'd be like if you seen the movie Heavyweights as a kid.
No. Well, this is a first. Usually I'm like, yeah, I've seen every movie. What's Heavyweights?
Heavyweights, this is such a stereotypical mid-90s Disney movie, but it did not give off a Disney vibe. It was pretty edgy. So it's about these kids at a fat camp.
The Disney adult.
Yeah, Disney adult. It's about these kids at a fat camp and, they're having fun. And then Ben Stiller takes it over.
Oh, okay. I do know this movie.
Yeah, I love watching every once in a while. It's a fun, like, childhood rewatch.
That is a heavy one. That is way more Disney adult than it was for kids. There was a few of those like that, though. There was a few that you're like, should I at 10 be watching this? Or is anyone else feeling this? Or I'm just sensitive.
What other movies do you feel did it have it age well? Or TV shows? Like some of the jokes, I mean, like, holy shit.
That didn't age well?
Like I'm rewatching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and like they have some bad jokes in there.
Well, you could really go for bad. The Office has some bad jokes.
Yeah, like
that's why Steve Carell is like, we'll never like remake the show because it just wouldn't fly. What we did then just wouldn't fly now. And I'm like, respect, but we all would love like a reunion of some sort. Like so many people love The Office. We'd love for you guys just like to have like a table read or something
Yeah.
funny like that. Don't make a spin-off, just like do something like that.
Do
But
what
he's like, we
HBO
could
did
have
for Friends.
Friends, yeah. No, I definitely think more comedy stuff didn't age well, but at the same time, there's things that are still hysterical about those shows.
Oh yeah,
it's just
absolutely.
like you got to put the finger on like, okay, yeah, some of that is like very offensive, and then some of that is just uncalled for. But 90% of it is just stupid, cringy comedy. That's what they would go for.
Right.
But I don't feel like any, besides like animation, there's nothing else that I would say didn't age well, unless they're like straight up terrible movies.
Right. How do you feel about, as fellow movie lovers, with movies that may have, sensitive subjects, where they have things that, again, like doesn't fly today? Are you somebody who feels you have to erase these movies from history? Or are you somebody who feels that they should have disclaimers? Hey, we're still doing this in its entirety unedited, but just know this was made at a different time. This is just part of the story. I'm more for the latter. Like, I really think you should present it that way.
Personally, it depends.
Yeah, it is a case by case situation. I agree.
Right. I think like if you talk about the Dr. Seuss books, I think kids should not be reading that, because that's when they start to develop that kind of memory, and they can't decide what's better or what's not good. And the few that they took away, like who the fuck read those books anyways? Like I've never heard those books.
They didn't take away Horton Hears a Who or The Cat in the Hat or Green Eggs and Ham.
They took away the stuff that like presented prime things of discrimination. That for that age group is not good for the retaining that information. If you read it as an adult now, you can say, yeah, that's fucked up. But you're already grown. You already have made your decision, and you have like, what's better and what's not good, like not good. But movies, there's things where you watch them and you're like, okay, it's about history. It's like you watch a movie about slaves and you hear the white guy say the N-word, and you're like, okay, it's a movie. So like, and it's history, and you're like, all right, exactly. You're like, that really is, I don't love that, but it's history, it's what they did. But then there's some movies like people that this is like that cult fan fave, but Tropic Thunder.
Oh,
like
that's a hilarious movie.
What were we doing? What were we doing? Like that was the point of the joke.
Exactly.
Was that he like did that to his face? But that does
Robert
not.
Downey Jr. character with blackface.
I cannot watch that movie ever again. So like, I really think it depends on like per case kind of thing.
Yeah, I think.
And I think if it's not like, if people are all like for, and I think it all starts with like, if it comes to a certain subject, the subjects that it's targeting should be the ones that tell you, yeah, this is not, we're not for this. So like, if it's about BLM, they should be like, hey, we don't support these movies, we don't support these brands, let us know. If it's about the gay community, we don't support these movies, we don't support these brands. Give me the no, because I'm literally a straight white woman. I cannot be the one that's like the top person. I need the info. I want to be supportive. I want to be the ally that I say I am. So you got to give me the 411. And that's how I feel about that stuff. So.
And we just have to have these conversations as well. We need to understand why we're making these decisions, why it doesn't age well, and what we can learn from it, and why we can't repeat it. Those who don't know history are doomed to repeat it. So as long as we have those honest conversations, and they're not hard to have or awkward unless we make it awkward or hard, then we're at a good understanding, and then we'll understand why art was presented this way and why we revolutionize it in years to come. So
there was a post, there's a Instagram page I follow, it's called So Informed, and they posted about the book bans today. There's new books that are being banned. Really? And personally, like certain things I don't think should be banned. I think,
do you know which books are getting banned?
I can read you the ones that they're like having conversations about. I don't know. part of me is like, what are we doing? Because now we're turning into a huge, like, the freedom thing starts to become an issue.
Yeah.
And when you think about each book, you're like, some things I understand what you're talking about, some things I do not. So we got The Catcher in the Rye. We got Lord of the Flies, To Kill a Mockingbird, The Color Purple, which is totally about slavery, Animal Farm, Slaughterhouse-Five, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
You got some classics in this. What's that?
This is not about J.K. Rowling's transphobia Harry Potter series because it promotes witchcraft.
Come on.
For certain religions. So certain, like, what does it say? Most religious groups in schools are referring to, like, they are taking them out because it refers to magic and witchcraft containing actual curses and spells to attain the goal of defeating your other one. I'm like, get out of my face. It's literally, they don't work. I've been to Harry Potter World. I've done the spell. That shit doesn't work. So enough with the whole, like, you're at a Catholic school, so you can't read Harry Potter. It's very interesting. And some of them I do agree. They're, like, not saying they're banned, but that they shouldn't be read to certain age groups. So like,
I think there are some better stories that it's better to consume as an adult. But you were saying?
Yeah, I think they were saying Lord of the Flies.
Lord of the Flies, I watched the movie, like the late 90s movie, early 90s movie, and it has one of the most disturbing scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
It's a rough one. They said they don't want it to be taught. Some of these, they want 11th grade and up to be taught these books.
They do.
Anything lower, it's too inappropriate.
That's fair. I remember reading that book, like, specifically
Catcher
as a senior.
in the Rye, they say they want Catcher in the Rye. They want 11th grade above. I think that's what they have been challenging Lord of the Flies since 1974 in schools. So really? And they're like, the recent one was they need to stop teaching it to ninth graders in 2000. And I was like, I definitely read that book sophomore year. So
well,
and we watched the movie in school.
Definitely and willing to hear.
Killing Mockingbird, like, if we're going to learn it in school.
Oh, that's a must. I'll go far on that. One of my favorite movies of all time.
But if we're going to read and learn these books and movies in school, they have to not pull the, like, well, I'm just reading it to give you the aspect of what happened. And they say the N word in school. And it gives across the wrong message. Like, you should just say, it says a bad word, but we're not going to read that out loud. We're going to say the N word. Like, you do not have to speak it. And I think that was, like, the confusion, because I remember freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, there was books that we read that had racism in it and rapists and all this stuff in it. And we fully read it out loud, no censorship. And I think that can give across the wrong message to kids that need a little bit more boundary. But I don't necessarily agree with all the bans. I think that some of that stuff, there are important messages to be read. I think we just have to give it to the right age groups if you're learning it in school.
I agree 1000%. And
yeah,
some things are better to consume as an adult as well. And, that's not too late, later high school as well. But just understand its impact and what it represents. And, don't bombard. And if people are really that desperate to read this stuff, they'll be able to get access to it as well. So,
oh yeah, like, it's the same thing with anything. Like, you could bring it back to the extremes of prohibition. They still made their drinks. They still did what they want. You can make things illegal, and we're still going to get it. So it's not really. It's a little hard to put a censorship on a world that's not been very censorship,
One thing, you hit it on the head, and we don't want to censor. We just want to know why. And like I said, we're just here to learn from it, not bombard. We understand why we have to reevaluate these works of literature, storytelling, and content. But at the end of the day, we can all still learn from it one way or the other. At least that's how I perceive it.
And there is more than 5 books out there
Yeah,
they
right.
can teach. So to this day, if you bring up Great Gatsby to an English teacher, it's like the Bible to them. So there's so many other books and books that are written by people of color that should be out there more utilized in the classroom. So
Absolutely.
take away the ban, who cares? But we should definitely make the horizon for reading and stuff way bigger, because the stuff I think I only, in the span of 4 years for school, I think I've learned like 5 books. And it's the same 5 books that have been taught for 20 plus years. So you're like, okay, so a white man wrote this, a rich white man wrote this with mental illness. We have to figure out what he's talking about, but he's really not talking about anything. And then he's going to bring race into it. And then we have to analyze that. How about we read a book by somebody who is a person of color and it's their point of view, and not get the, like, they're rich and white and mentally ill. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
All we ask and it's a time for authenticity for these storytellers now. It's their time. It's time for people of color to show us the true aspects, the true reality, hitting our 5 senses, and it's time to experience their story from their point of view.
Yep.
Not because it's
and
easy to
that's for
sell.
TV and movie as well.
Absolutely. It's because it's just the right thing to do. It makes a better story. Why am I going to hear a white person's perspective writing characters who are people of color who they didn't experience it themselves? That's why, a lot of shows, like sitcoms.
When you can tell it's written by like a white man. Like, so did you watch Malcolm and Marie with Zendaya?
Not yet, actually. It's a shame. I know, but I love those two so much. But I haven't gotten to see it.
We talked about that on ChicksTalksFlicks, but
okay,
it is written by Sam Livingston, who does Euphoria. He's a white man, and it's about 2 people of color and their relationship, and you can totally tell that it's like.
Yeah, I think it got mixed reviews.
It has the motivation of the 2 of them, the actors, that they have the fuel and they've helped make this movie as well. But there's some things that are topics that are brought up, and you're like, this is Sam, and this is not what a couple would be talking about in this situation. And you're like, okay, sure, all right, Sam. But you can tell that it was not actually whitewashed, but you can tell that it's written by a white man.
Yeah, it's just not authentic. It's not true, and
it's about his problems too. About it. One thing that happened, and it was like they're fighting about a critic, and it's the same fight he had about a critic, because she had brought up that he's very whitewashed. They brought that into it, and you're like, oh, Denzel Washington's son had that problem? I don't remember seeing that, but okay.
You won't have people understand what they're going through because they're not telling it. So now the benefit of all these streaming services and ways to present yourself is we are having, like I said, more authentic people telling their stories and point of views. That's just naturally going to allow you to have a better experience as an audience.
And it's going to open your own personal horizon on like culture and everything, and help you grow as an individual. Like, you, as much as they're getting out of producing this stuff, we are getting more out of it too, by expanding our thought process on things and saying, oh, maybe I had the wrong idea about that. Like, that's a good point of view. It just helps us grow too.
You literally couldn't have said it any better. And, I'm very excited for the future of content creation in all aspects.
Yeah.
And we'll definitely get into that a little later, but it's just so great to see all these people from various backgrounds, no matter your race, gender, ethnicity, sexual orientation. It's nice to see new storytellers show the light, and we have more of an understanding, and most importantly, get entertained by it. So
exactly.
Before we geek out on some movies, TV, all that stuff, I wanted just to hit on a couple things. And one thing you do is you're known as a very talented hairstylist across the aspects of the Norwalk community. I see you have a great and successful Instagram page. What is that, your hairstylist one, if you could tell the audience?
That is Tay Drones with a Z at the end of it, _stylist. So if you ever want to follow me, come on in. But yeah, I love hair. I've always wanted to do it. I want to do it since like 2nd grade. And then I just like, it fell into my lap, this salon that I'm working at, and
Look at that.
it just is so, it's so great. Like, it's such a great thing to, even if I don't stay at the same salon forever, just the community that you build in hair could be really toxic, or it could be really uplifting. And so far I've only met the uplifting parts of hair, so that's like really beneficial for me, because I definitely get anxiety with things. And when you have to work with people all day long and like listen to their problems and become this person that you have to be like a little bit stronger for them, because you can't look like you're upset about stuff. You have to leave things at the door. You got to be there for your client, and you got to make them feel good. At the end of the day, you're like, oh, Jesus, did everything go well today? Like, I didn't go to the bathroom today? Did I eat today? Did I do it? You're like, can really lose yourself sometimes with your day at work. So I'm very grateful that I have worked with people that are really amazing, and that the clients that I do have are just becoming friends. Like, they're just people that I like to see and hang out with, and it doesn't feel like work. So it's like a really amazing thing that I've gotten to experience.
What's the most satisfying feeling that you have ever gotten after, after you complete a job? I'm sorry if I messed up the terminology up, but pretty much after the customer comes in and you help transform them into the beautiful, cool person they are. What's that feeling like?
The only time that I can say it's really satisfying if it's a project I'm nervous about. So there's certain things that are totally out of my comfort zone as a stylist. There's things that like other stylists are not comfortable with too, but you do them sometimes, and you're like, all right, let's pull our hair up and drink some water and let's like bang this out. And it's usually things that I'm really stressed about. And then at the end, I was like, well, shit, that looks freaking amazing. You look great. They're jumping with joy. We took pictures. I'm posting it. I'm getting likes. I'm like, okay, I just sweated 30 pounds off, but I made good money. I made this person happy. I had a great time. And actually, I'm more than my mind. So like when you think about what you can't do, and then you're like, yeah, I can't do it, but then you do it, you're like, shit, I actually know what I'm doing. It's like a confidence booster. So those kind of projects I think are like my favorite. I hate them during it though. Yeah. I'm like, okay, we're gonna get this done. Like, we're gonna get through this. Jesus, take the wheel. We're fine. And then at the end of it, like, I got color all over me. I'm sweating. My hair is like a mess. And they're like, I love it. And then they leave, and you're like, okay, we're good. It was fun, and it was amazing, and it looks good. And I think that's like my favorite part. So,
well, it shows you've earned it. And you mentioned right before we were recording, you've been doing it for 6 years. And I mean,
yeah, well, I've been at the salon for a little over 6 years, but I'm actually going to be licensed tomorrow for 7 years.
Well, congratulations, Taylor. That's amazing to hear. I mean, wow, that's a solid 7 years.
I know. I started pretty much the fall that you guys all went to college.
Look at that.
When I went to school. And so it's been a long time.
You made it.
I guess technically 8 years of doing hair, but licensed 7.
Hey, that's still a wonderful accomplishment. You should be very proud of yourself.
Almost a freaking decade. I'm like, ew, getting old.
And just looking at the stylist page, I'm like, wow, you have some talent. Maybe one day you can help me out. I love my hair.
I'm waiting. You tell me. You let me know. We'll send a little text. I'll help you out. I'll give you a little discount.
Oh, trust me, I will take you up on that offer.
For real.
Anybody, if anyone else is interested to have some work for you, where can we request your services?
You call Styling in Norwalk. Website, there's websites and stuff, or you can just message me on Instagram, any social platform. I'll respond.
Awesome. And what's the Instagram one more time?
It is Taydrones_stylist. So I can spell it out and send that all to you too if you'd like to put it in there. But
beautiful. Yes, we will include it in our bio.
It's a little complicated. I made it when I was in hair school, and then thinking back, I'm like, that's a long ass Instagram, but it works.
Hey, it works. Yeah, you got a great following, I see. So people are able to find you, and we appreciate that. So as I mentioned, not only you're a great hairstylist, but you're also a great podcaster yourself. So,
oh my God. I like to talk, man. I like to talk.
gift of the gab, baby. That's what I say.
Exactly.
So you host the podcast, or I should say, you co-host this podcast.
I bring my talking voice, but Isabel is the mind. She has all the supplies. She's got the talent to, splice and get it all together, make it look good. She's just incredible. She's just such an amazing person, and she's a lot of fun. But
Hell
then I
yeah.
just come on and, like, chit chat with her and have fun, and we're gonna do Candyman this week, so that's gonna be really fun and scary. So it's like really just fun, like like the same thing that you're doing. It's fun in the way of like, yeah, you're doing what you want to do, but it's just like a fun experience to just be like, we're gonna come on, we're gonna talk about stuff that we love, and you get like a lot out of it.
Right.
It's great.
Exactly. So yeah, you and Isabel Serapine, you two co-hosts and do the podcast Chicks Who Talk Flicks, or is it Chicks Talk Flicks?
Chicks Talk Flicks, but we do fuck around with the name.
Cool. So Chicks
Chicks Talk Flicks, but it's Chicks Talk Flicks.
Yes. So Chicks Talks Flicks, you and Isabel co-host, which is available on all podcasting platforms. As you said, they're going to drop their newest one probably tomorrow or Friday, which is on Candyman. But why don't we talk about that? So you two are obviously big cinephiles, and we love that type of personality. Yeah. So talk to me. How did you two come together to, geek out on movies and create great content for it?
She has been making the podcast for a few years. And I was just like, oh, I love this. This is so cute. And I've always we've had each other on Instagram, and she posts some of she does little short films. And there was one point I messaged her over one that she did, and I was like, this was so refreshing. It was just a short little film. It wasn't anything big. But I was like, this is so good. And she was like, oh my God. And then I was like, I'm such a fan of your podcast. And she was like, shut up, come on in. And we did it at the end of, I think the first time that I went on was towards the end of last year. And it was just such a nice thing to meet somebody new and not be nervous about it. Because we immediately were it felt like we knew each other forever, even though we didn't. So we just were doing it a few times, and it just was a nice way to get out of the house. Because I feel like at the end of last year, we had school home, or work home, and you didn't get out of your rut. So this was a way to get out of my rut. And now it's I absolutely adore her. She's so talented. She's like I said, she's the mind behind all of it. So she's got, she makes a lot of good choices with what she does in it. And it's just super fun. We take it more of a fun project too. So it's cool.
How empowering and how wholesome that sounds. And yes, a lot of credit to Isabel and what she's been able to produce, and you being a part of that ride. It's so refreshing to see that. It really is, especially, I love this medium, and I've heard your two before, and it's just great to see other people taking advantage of what they can do with this world of content creation.
It's such a big community. So there's not one way or the right way to do it. You just get on there and you start working hard. It comes through. And
it shows how talented the both of you are and where it's going. So some of the movies you two have talked about before, I know the Trial Chicago 7, for instance.
Yeah, that was a really good movie.
That was one I particularly saw. I was like, yo, this is great. And we've had Isabel's boyfriend on the show before, Anthony Gradicelli.
Yeah, I'm seeing him tomorrow. He's gonna see Candyman with us.
Ooh, first, are you hyped for this Candyman? I've heard it was pretty good reviews. I've heard pretty psyched things.
I've heard way too many good things about it, and I think it's gonna be a very refreshing take on this story. And I love the actors in it. And my best friend, who I usually watch movies with, because she lives in Florida now, so we'll FaceTime, watch movies, and do our stuff. She saw it already with her boyfriend, and she just texted me. She goes, I cannot say anything but good things, and you need to go watch it. She wouldn't even discuss anything with me. She goes, just go see it. Shut up and go. So I'm very excited. That makes me nervous though, because when I'm very excited sometimes, I'm extremely let down with scary movies. But I think this is a fun spin on things.
Yeah, I really, my degree's in film production, and I was selective at the time, and then I gained better skills in my film analysis and film watching over quarantine. There was a time where I would watch 5 movies a day in quarantine of all genres and all languages and all time periods. Nothing pisses me off more when I speak to somebody. It's like, when did that movie come out? I say like 1985. Oh, that's too. I only watch movies from the 90s, 2000s. Like, you're not a film fan.
Yeah, you're not. You're just a fan of what's relevant.
Exactly.
Like, no, you should watch some of these old stuff. I mean, some of the old stuff you can sit there and be like, it's equally as bad as some of this new stuff. But there is some old movies that you're like, no, this was a bop and this was great. And this is
right.
This is where we started. So if you like movies, you like television, start from the beginning. You gotta
That's what
watch
I'm talking about. Exactly. And anyone who doesn't like certain
this poster is my Doctor Who poster.
Ooh.
You can't just start at the new seasons where it's all the new people. You got to go back to the 60s. You have to watch the old stuff. You can't just be like, I'm going to start in 2005 when they brought it back. They stopped between the 80s to 2005 and they brought it back. And that's where a lot of people start. And they're like, no, you got to go back to the 60s. They have them everywhere. Their short episodes are not half as long as the ones they have now.
Mm-hmm.
You can bang through it, but you need to watch it because there's characters and there's people that they bring into the new show that you'd be like, who the fuck is that bitch? You watch the old stuff, you would know and you would appreciate what's going on. But
exactly, you would just know and appreciate. We need more people who are like that, and you have to, as long as you embrace it, it's going a long way. And you want to pull your hair out.
Anything, like if you even look at like our talk show hosts and stuff, and you don't know where they originated, like say you watched Conan, you're like, yeah, okay, this guy's funny, he's skinny and he's funny. It's like, no, he used to write for SNL, he wrote for Simpsons, like he is a cool ass dude. And you're over here like, oh yeah, he just does a talk show and he's skinny. You're like, no.
Well, that's why they are losers. What an impact. Conan's my absolute favorite. That's one of my biggest influences
that's my
ever.
Favorite one.
If
I need to watch something, like if I'm upset, I'm scared, or just need something like to relieve me, Conan all the time. And his remote things where he would go somewhere and do something, every single one of them crack me up. The ones he did with Ice Cube and Kevin Hart, they just every time, I can't. They just kill me.
I feel that's the very best part of Conan. He is just the most genuine, funny person out there. Like if you hear him in podcasts, he does his own podcast, one of my favorites, which I have right here. I just have to acknowledge.
Yes. Yeah. And he's probably going to do a lot more of that now that he's retired. He's probably going to do a lot more stuff. I think something for HBO too. So
yeah, he's going to do a weekly variety show for HBO Max, which is going to be a lot of fun. But his podcasts are great. His long form interviews, and when he shows his serious side, I mean, this is a Harvard educated man. He's no dummy.
My dude is smart. I would be terrified to meet him. I'd be like, sir, like, don't call me up.
And it's one of the few things he seems so approachable to. And I've met like a couple people who said they've met him, and he's the exact same way on TV.
Yeah,
it's hard to miss him. He's 6'5" or something.
No, yeah, he is a tall dude. Like, and he's like you said, what people have said. You could say, okay, he's still putting on an act. Like, yeah, he's genuine, but he could be putting on an act. There are so many people that are just fans that have met him, and he goes out of their way to make sure he signs every single like autograph. He's like looks him in the eye. He says, "How are you doing?" It's not like a quick doing this and sending him off or being like, "No, sorry, I'm too busy." Like, he takes time out of his day to be there for his fans and the people that he cares about, and charities and things that he always does. And then you hear about like James Corden, and he doesn't even know like half his staff's name. You're like,
I didn't even know that. Oh,
yeah, that was like a recent thing. They like when he does the spill your guts or fill your guts thing. There's some questions that they get written. They're like, either egg or list 3 members of your staff that's behind the camera right now.
Oh, come on, James.
And he's like, and you can see he's like, and he like eats the egg, and you're like,
he's had He's had some bad
You
PR
know?
this over the past year.
Yeah. And it's hard because I like his show too, but it's like if you don't really have like respect for the people that are doing a lot of the majority of your work,
Yeah,
people that are writing jokes, the people that are literally holding the camera, I can't back that. That's like so rough.
absolutely. These fans are the reason why you are relevant and have a reason to make this content for a reason. So that's
And
why we
solely
appreciate
just your
those.
staff, like the people that
Yeah.
work with you or for you, if you can't even have respect to like know who they are, and it's especially like the people are right in front of you, they're the cameramen and you barely know their name, like how do you do that? How do you like are so self-absorbed? I don't understand.
It just shows it. That's why I
Yeah,
feel karma comes for people in certain ways, and examples like this show
absolutely.
exactly like why that is. And everything
Yeah.
about Conan, same thing. The two things that I'm sad, it's either Conan or watching Curb Your Enthusiasm, which comes back next month. That's my absolute favorite show. I love
Oh
Larry
my
David.
God.
His daughter's awesome, Cassie David.
Yeah,
Everything he's produced
yeah, he's
is
pretty
incredible.
wild. Yeah, there's a skit he did on SNL, and it's like Mcfadden and this other guy, and I'm totally forgetting his name right now, but I'm obsessed with him. And it was like the 90s sitcom stuff, and he was playing cousin Mario or whatever. And everything that they do, it's called, I'm gonna have to send it to you because you'll get a kick out of it.
Oh,
But like
definitely,
everything
please.
they do is like so overacted. And you remember like how they would do transition scenes? So it was like, okay, so the scene ended and now it's like an airplane or something going by.
Yeah, right.
They started with like little stuff like that, but then like as the skit progressed, it was like giraffes walking, and then it goes back to their suburban household. You're like, this is insane. Like, and you know Larry had a part of like making this skit up with them. So it's just so fun.
Just so fascinating. And we all wish we had his type of confidence of not caring about this world.
Yeah.
And we all
we want it and we try to do it, but we don't have it.
And he says everything we're thinking. Thinking.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And one of the rare things too that I think Larry David and Conan have is the fact that they are able to do so much humor that connects with audiences of all diverse backgrounds without being offensive and judgmental.
Offensive. Exactly.
Not a lot of people could do that.
Yeah. Well, you could just go back to Conan's skit with Ice Cube and
and
they go to the gas station and they're like, go in and get us a 40. And he's like, oh, what?
A 40?
Like, a 14. Can I have a 14? And you're like, oh my God. And then Ice Cube, like he's walking in, Ice Cube goes, his jeans do be tight. I laugh at that every time. I'm like, oh my God. He's not trying to be anybody but Conan. And that's like the beautiful thing. Yeah.
That's the way you have to be. And that's why his podcast is just so beautiful. It's literally, it's beautiful. I die laughing. And then I get really, he knows how to hit the intellectual and emotional side too. So
yeah. And how he connects with just the people that are in his life. Like some of those actors you could never see again on the show. And then you have stuff like Paul Rudd, and he constantly comes on and pulls the same jokes with these, like, it's pure comedy. It's not like I'm trying to force something or stay modern. It's just, this is what we've been doing for 20 years. We're going to continue to do this. And it's just equally as funny.
Nothing beats that Mac and me joke.
Exactly. And there's so many people like, what the fuck is this joke? But you sit there and like, no, this is an ongoing joke. And that's the kind of jokes I respect, is like, you have to catch up. They don't need to. You don't need to stay modern. We have to keep up with their jokes, because if you're like aware of what they're doing, it's hysterical.
Yeah.
You don't have to be modern. You have to do stuff that makes other people happy. Just do what makes you laugh, because if they're laughing, you laugh.
That's exactly. It's all about that's the best part of, that's the most important part for writers to do, to give the emotions that they are presenting to people. If the writer doesn't cry, you're not crying as an audience member. So proves that
100%.
So just a few more other things. I was just wondering, what are just some great movies that you have seen recently? Like I'm able to mark it because I have my Letterboxd. Are you on Letterboxd?
Dude, you know what? I should be shameful. I'm like, you can actually shame me right now. I do not have Letterboxd.
How could this be?
I don't know. I honestly feel like sometimes I'm a 40-year-old woman and do not have the apps that I need to have.
Hey, you could start.
I just downloaded like like certain things. I'm like, I should have had this forever because I could have got discounts at fast food restaurants because I never had any of that. And I'm over here, and my brother was like, "You don't even have Fandango on your." I was like, "No, I just go on the website." He goes, "You go on the website? You don't
Yeah,
have
you
the
gotta get
app?"
these points, Taylor. You're missing
Oh my
out.
God, I know. I'm literally
You
a
are
loser.
shamed.
I know.
Forgive you. We'll forgive
Jake.
you. This one time though.
No,
But-
I'm literally.
Yeah.
You're the fifth person to tell me to get it, so I need to shut up and just get it.
Well, it
I'm
looks like
doing
it's fate.
Downloaded.
See, fate is coming. Somebody's telling you something. But
exactly.
I just write quick blurbs. Follow me, mbrown3212. That's for anyone on Letterboxd. We've actually put a few people on from the pod, but the last 4 movies I saw, we'll start with that. I saw the Woodstock, the original documentary from 1970, like that 4-hour one, which is awesome. I watched it like one Sunday morning, and it just obviously show the legendary concert it is. But I mean, the footage is phenomenal. It looks great. It shows that culture back then.
It's so crazy how much footage they actually had from back then too.
Yeah,
and it's still like fairly good footage.
Right. It's sharp. It's, it doesn't look, I mean, obviously it's old. It's 51 years old.
But like compared to what your family may have from that time.
Oh, yeah.
It's good footage.
It's definitely very expensive, but we love it. I mean, they able to capture history.
Yeah.
You not only see the legendary performance from Joni Mitchell, Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix.
I love Janis.
Go all day with that, but then you just see how the crowd reacts with them. They're just young people like us, just trying to have a good time.
What they got away with back then too, like some of the stuff that compared to that to the '99, it was
breaks your heart.
Totally different vibes.
But it was insane. It was just truly peace and love. At least it seems that way. And
yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
One of my favorite documentaries, and the great Martin Scorsese was an editor on it. Fun fact.
Oh, I did not know that.
The next one I saw was It Happened One Night, the old Clark Gable 1934 film. It considers like historically, it's like one of the standard romantic comedies.
It is.
With her and Claudette Colbert. And it was legitimately funny. I love the chemistry between the leads. And there was just some thrilling moments, and it just shows what you could pull off with cinematography back then, even in the early 30s. And that was Great Depression too. So like,
exactly, they didn't have half the crap they needed.
I watched Ghost, the Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore.
Did you never watch that before?
Not until a few weeks ago.
Oh my God. How did you feel? Did it epiphany happen?
Oh yeah, I can quickly read the review. It's a very quick paragraph. I said verbatim, "Wow, I love that movie. We got such a beautiful romance fantasy story combined with a dope thriller. Sign me up." With an amazing lead performance from the late great Patrick Swayze, and his chemistry with Demi Moore is heartfelt, and she herself was great in the film. A despicable villain played by Tony Goldwyn was played well. And how about a legitimate, amazing supporting performance by Whoopi Goldberg?
I think she was nominated too. I think
she actually won the whole thing. She won an Oscar.
Yeah, I think she did win. Yeah.
With a great screenplay by Bruce Joel Rubin as well. I love this from start to finish, and all the existential themes hit home as well. Great watch, awesome score, and this is a really good movie. That's what I said exactly.
Yeah. Love it. I fully agree. That's a fun cast, because thinking about like where they were at that time, and then some of them that like Tony was not like super huge at I mean, he was, but he wasn't.
Tony Goldwyn, yeah. My mom has a crush on him still.
And love him.
His show that he revitalized himself on. What was it again? I mean, I can't
Scandal?
believe it. Yeah. So look at that.
That's definitely a girl show. Like, it's not, but like that kind of stuff, you're like, oh man, like love that. Like, it's such a a president. Of course, it's the worst case scenario. A president falls in love with somebody else, and you're like, oh my God, but it's like the can't be together thing that gets everyone.
The star-crossed lovers.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't care how immersed I am in movies and television and know everything. I'm like, I'll still love that stuff. So cute.
That's what's
But
great
and
about it.
my mom loves all that stuff too, like all those old movies and stuff like that. So we'll watch a lot of those. Like, she loves like 16 Candles and all those movies, and we'll watch those on repeat. I'm like, I am obsessed with these. Even if I've seen them 16 times, I'll still be like, I'm going to sit through all of this and love it.
Rewatchables for a reason.
Recently, I watched some new movies, not some of the old stuff, but on Netflix, there's a movie called The Starling with Melissa McCarthy and Patrick O'Dowd and Kevin Kline.
Yeah, I saw the some of the trailers for it.
Yeah,
it's nice to see Kevin Kline again. He's been kind of MIA.
And he's still so cool. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's the best movie I've ever watched, but it's one of those movies where at the end of it, I was bawling my eyes out. And it was.
I'm a crier at movies. Real
yeah,
good.
I
specifically, I'm a crier by myself. I don't know why with people I can hold it, but if I'm by myself, I'm going nuts.
No, see, well, I'll just give you this. I went to Secret Life of Pets 2 years ago with my sister, and I think it maybe the first one or the second. It was maybe the first one, but there's a scene where the old dog, he's like a hound of some sorts, and he's laying in his bed, and all the family members are coming home, so all the dogs and cats and birds and stuff are getting excited that their people are coming home, and he's an old man, like this old puppy, and he's like laying in his bed, and his tail is just doing this, and I just was like, oh my god,
fair
it's like my dog. And my little sister was like, really? Over the dog's tail flapping?
In an animated movie?
Yeah, I was like, yeah.
Fuck it, I'm showing my emotions.
I was like,
that's how you know it's a good movie.
My dog.
You know,
I love that stuff.
Even though this is Pixar and those other movies, the Pixar emotions, they hit those beats on you. You know, one of my favorite things, I just follow movie related accounts on Instagram instead of Instagram models and people I don't give a shit about from college or high school.
All of that stuff. Yeah.
It's all the movies. Like Fucking Good Movies is great. Cinema Encyclopedia, all that.
I got a lot more of those on Twitter too. That's like kind of fun to get like a quick like a quote that I forgot about from a movie, or just like a review from a new one. I love all that stuff to just quickly pop on there.
Oh yeah, and the clip was like, it's a soundtrack. Why are you crying? And they did the Up song.
Dude.
Just the Up song. You just heard those 3 notes. They said, nope, I'm not gonna start bawling in the grocery store right now.
There is like maybe 10 or 5 to 10 songs that I can hear the pin drop, and I'm like, I need to you.
For me, a lot of those are Pixar movies.
Oh, 90% of them are Pixar. Absolutely. Yeah. Pixar knows what they're doing. They know the formula.
You know, it's sad.
And they know that like it can work for kids, but if the parent has to go, because now they know 90% of the time the kids that are going to go see this also have a parent or an older sibling that is there. They have to be able to keep those people intrigued as well. So they do hit stuff for the older groups as well. And I think they know that. They've learned that for years now, but like you can tell that they place the funny and the lighthearted stuff for the kids, and then they hit pretty hard with the moral of the story for the family that's older.
Deep breaths, but that's how you know it works out.
That's
how you know. So
absolutely.
And do you have like, if you could go on the top of your head, I won't make you say in order, but can you just tell me just some of your just absolute favorites of all time? First, we'll do the movies and TV shows. I won't make you make an order, but what are some of those shows or movies that you just love and get at a kick of? Like, if you can't think, I could start it too. Like, if we're going with movies,
I could go really corny though. My favorite all-time favorites are more corny than like film philosophy, if that makes any sense. Like,
yeah.
For TV show, I'll go straight and say Doctor Who will be number 1 always for me, because
it gives that emotional connection.
Yeah. But then when you go to movies, like I could literally watch Lord of the Rings and Hobbit and Harry Potter and all that like whole group over and over again and get more excited about it than every time I watch it. Like the sci-fi world is definitely where my eyes go to first. But there is a funny one that if I do not mention it, I think it would be bad, but it's not a good movie. back when I was younger, there was a movie called Rebound with Martin Lawrence, and it's a basketball movie.
I know that movie. I saw it in theaters.
Yeah. Well, I own the DVD still to this day. It's the most scratched up DVD I've ever had. I would watch it on repeat. So if it was a Sunday and I wasn't doing anything, I maybe watched it 4 or 5 times. But I wouldn't go back to main menu. I would literally rewind it like a VCR. So I would watch it forward and backwards. And there was points where like my brother would walk on me talking in my sleep, doing some of the lines that were killing me. And I'm like, I will never not love. If that movie's on the TV, I will watch it because it's just, it brings me back to like my childhood days. And it's not,
Right.
Of course, it's not the best movie out there. It's a corny Martin Lawrence movie that's funny. It's lighthearted. It's goofy, and you're just like, yeah, this is a solid ass movie. But mostly, my list will start with sci-fi and drama more than anything. So like Game of Thrones, even though they're salty about the ending, love that show. Succession, that's coming back out. That's an amazing show. And there's so many movies out there that like are on my watch list that have been on my watch list for 20 plus years because it's just, they're my favorite movies.
It's timeless.
If I'm feeling some kind of sad, happy or whatever, and I'm like, I just need my comfort movies. You pull the list up and you just keep watching it. I'm like, I love that.
Just has that special feeling.
Yeah.
Nothing beats it. And I know exactly what you mean. It's just those rewatchable shows and movies that just brings us joy, and we appreciate the art and everyone involved. And that's the point of creating work like the stuff they do. You know, I'll really go with any genre and any language, any time period. But probably my personal favorites are just love me, like you said, a good drama, a good comedy. And I love me a good thriller. I love a great thriller.
Love a good thriller. Yeah, exactly.
And so I have this list always in handy. So I made this is my top 10 movies, June 14th, 2020. And I would say this is pretty much the same right now.
Okay.
So I said number 10 was Rushmore, Wes Anderson's Rushmore. Even before it's ironic because you watch, it's like, this isn't a Wes Anderson movie, but it is.
You're so right.
In the aesthetic, it is. In the themes, in the themes, in the character development and its writing, it does still do a typical Wes Anderson movie, but it doesn't have that classic look he has, as he pretty much mastered and made his own genre.
Yeah, that he's made his own now.
I love Wes Anderson a lot. And, it's pretty much like they make the joke that he repeats himself. It's just about two people who do something wrong, that something goes wrong, and they have to fix it.
The formula works, and every time you watch it, you're like, this is a good movie. Shut up.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, there's so many people that repeat that, like, as just a rom-com kind of thing, and you're like, yeah, okay, I got it. But his are always still unique. There's still a factor that is different, and I love that for him. So.
Oh, man. Those movies just make you kind of happy. And it's just a great Wes Anderson trope.
Absolutely.
But others just walk off. Superbad, To Kill a Mockingbird, Get Out, Do the Right Thing, On the Waterfront, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Toy Story. Those are all
Toy Story.
Toy Story, I know every single line. I really do.
Oh my God. Get Out is iconic though. Anything
iconic.
That Jordan Peele's been doing now is just so what we need right now.
He's dropping again next summer, so that's gonna be great.
I know.
And you know what I love? You know what
I love the aspect of like a comedy, like a comedian guy being like, here's my dark side. Look at what you didn't expect from me. And that whenever I've seen any kind of thing that's happened like that, because there's been a few that's done it, they are way better than what you expect from a comedian.
Yeah,
he's
you need
full
that diversity.
From start to bottom, he's a guy that you look at him and you're gonna start laughing. Like he looks at you sideways, you're gonna start laughing. So for him to put, when he brought Get Out, that, like, I saw that in the theaters and it shook me to the core. I was like, Jordan Peele made that?
Yeah.
Jordan?
The same guy who is known as
dude
Mouse
over there that was like in underwear on Matt TV, like that guy? Yeah.
And he was the cop formerly known as Mousetrap, or whatever the football from Key and Peele. You want to know a crazy fact about Key and Peele?
What?
They are 8 years apart. 8.
Wow.
8.
I never knew that. Are you
a
kidding?
whole decade? Yeah. Jordan
That's
Peele,
crazy. I thought they were like almost brothers. Like, it's the same
right?
age.
Iconic. And I mean, literally define a generation. Yeah, Keegan Michael Key
Love.
is, I'm saying his age right here. He's 50 years old. Jordan Peele is 42. That's
Both of
insane.
them don't look that age either, though. They look like
Right?
they're 39.
But
That's crazy.
yeah, I just love that. My favorite part of Get Out, besides the woke message, is Chris, who's played by Daniel Kaluuya.
He's insane.
Oh yeah, deserved his Oscar for
So good. Yeah. Oh my God.
Judas and
That
the Black
movie is
Messiah. But
crazy.
he was the best at curving situations. If you remember the movie, like anytime, they were doing like trying to kiss his ass, he just walked away like so smoothly. That was one of my favorite parts. But
that was a really good. I'm so glad that happened for him, because like he was pretty popular in England already. He was in a few things. But this definitely shot him up, and I'm so glad it did, because he deserves it. He deserves to be like super, super famous and popular and in demand, because he's really that good.
Nothing beats a great British actor who they always have the best skills no matter what, especially when they do American
stuff. I feel like they're so limited in England, because you could watch one show and be like, so all 4 of them are in a different show. Like if you watch Broadchurch on Netflix, there's 2 Doctor Who's in it. There's Olivia Colman, who was in Doctor Who and now does The Crown. Like they literally use the same group of like 6 actors.
I love Olivia.
You guys are, and then you bring them here, and then they dominate us. You're like, all right, so they only needed those 6 actors. You don't need anybody else.
Their American accents are better than ours most of the time.
Because my British accent is being perfected, but it's not good. It would be like really corny if I was to be an actor. They can just nail it.
My absolute favorite actor is British. Who do you think it is? I've said it before on the show, but
oh damn it! I'm not gonna remember it now. Who is it?
My favorite actor is Robert Pattinson.
Oh, yeah.
How he reinvented himself, being a huge household name from Twilight, and then going to the indie scene and just showing his range, and now back in the mainstream. He's amazing.
Oh, I wish. Wait, hold on.
Oh, I love Good Time. Best New York accent I've ever heard, and he's British.
That movie was insane.
Those Safdie brothers like to fuck us up.
They really do. Hold on. This is worth the wait, I promise you.
I just want to make clear at this point on, spoiler alert for any movies we hit on at this point. So just be aware of that. But Uncut Gems is one of the saddest endings I've ever seen.
Oh, Uncut, they did them dirty, dude. Not getting nominated for Uncut Gems. I watched that movie a little too late too. I was really pissed off with myself. I'm like, we should have started a petition. But his when he accepted the award at
Independent Spirit.
Yeah. And he was just like, y'all suck, and you know it. But I was just like, yeah.
Yeah, son. So for our people who are listening, Taylor is showing off her Good Time shirt with Robert Pattinson's character on that.
Robert Pattinson on it.
Oh, all Robert Pattinson.
And it's the little meme guy.
Yeah.
It's literally just a whole Robert shirt. Let
me borrow that for Halloween.
I'll just be a Robert
Pattinson. I'll just be a Robert Pattinson fanboy for Halloween, and I have no shame for it. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna look for you. Note to self: find brown slacks. I could definitely get my hair like that.
You gotta get the old gas station sunglasses. Look a little raggedy, and you'll be good.
It's official, everybody. That's my Halloween costume.
One of my Halloween costumes with my friend Raquel are going to be Pauly D and Vinny in Italy and wear the tracksuits. So I literally have a tracksuit in my closet.
I'm getting that.
I have a white Italian tracksuit jacket. I got my glasses. We're going to literally be Pauly D and Vinny. So if you see us in Sono this Halloween, come take some pics with us.
Easily. So Yeah, I remember my Halloween costume. I had something completely different. Sadly, Sean Connery passed away last Halloween, and I
Yeah,
was James Bond. I literally had shaved my beard and
that's
just
pretty
put a
sick.
suit on. But I don't know why I risked getting a suit dirty at a Halloween party. I was first of all shouldn't have been at because they didn't not follow the COVID restrictions, but different time and we learned our lesson.
But
But
now we can have some fun. We gotta have some fun. We
absolutely.
gotta
But
start
Robert
living a little bit.
hit the nail on the head. We've waited
Yeah.
long enough and get vaccinated, people. Yeah, I have a Robert
For
Pattinson
real.
picture right here
Iconic.
with the James
That's
Stewart
so
one.
funny. I love that. I totally love him too. He's just so great and gorgeous, and I don't even care if he hates Twilight. I love Twilight.
You know what? We all were humbled, and I mean, like I said,
Yeah.
not a lot of actors really go do lower. They don't. A lot of people don't go and on your prime when you look like that do independent films, but he just wanted to expand as an actor.
But he knew his audience would follow him anywhere.
Yeah, and look what he's done.
And he continued to work immediately afterwards. Everyone else that maybe didn't continue working, they fell off. They really did.
Yeah, where's Taylor? What's his name?
I know he doesn't do a lot of other stuff. He did Scream Queens a few years ago. Kristen Stewart's still killing it and is amazing as well. I love her.
People saying good things about Diana.
But she, even just her Joan Jett impression was really good in The Runaways. So she's really cool. But a lot of the other ones, they didn't do anything really afterwards, except for maybe Esme, the one that played Edward's mom. That's it. The rest of them, I think Rosalie married Ian Somerhalder, so two vampires married each other. Ian Somerhalder was from Vampire Diaries. They're married now, so like that's it. I'm like, right. I've not seen you guys in other things except for this. So, and Anna Kendrick, she's skyrocketed.
Oh, I love Anna Kendrick.
Yeah, she went up.
Did you know that she was an early investor Dippin' Dots, and I think her net worth is $1 billion. I literally saw that on a random meme once. I don't know if it's true.
Are you kidding? Oh, we gotta fact check it. That would be really.
Yeah, she's a billionaire, so
really
that's awesome.
Yeah, good. Shout out Anna. Give us some of the stocks, man.
And by the way, my favorite movie is The Departed. Martin Scorsese's Departed. That made me realize, this is legit. I'm so into movies and TV the rest of my life. And
his films really can do something to you.
Scorsese, oh yeah.
Really
is there something?
Some of them I'm just like, oh my god, shut up. But then some of them I'm like,
oh yeah,
yeah, that hit me hard. That hit me right there.
A lot of directors decline as their career prolongs, but him and Spielberg have been relevant for 6+ decades, and that's saying something.
Yeah, no, they definitely he knows what he's doing. But also I think sometimes there's a element of they have the white man.
Oh yeah, the white man struggles whose power ultimately is his downfall type of archetype. Yeah,
well, not necessarily, but they're just so famous that they won't go down. They're now, no matter what they do, even if it's bad, because I do not love The Irishman. They will still get the recognition because you say Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, he's grandfathered in.
He's in it. That's industry. It. If you say, I've never not liked the Spielberg movie, but if you say Spielberg,
he's set.
They're in it. They're in the Hollywood circle, and they're not getting pushed out anytime soon. So, but I'm not saying they don't make amazing movies. I just say, personally, when The Irishman came out, there was maybe 4 other movies that had been out longer that needed to be nominated, and they're from people of color. But then they're like, oh wait, Robert De Niro. No, we can't. We have to nominate them, and it's Martin. We have to get them in there. And it was almost a 4-hour movie, and I'm not even kidding. I sat there what the fuck?
There was a solid hour and a half that he could have cut off. I mean,
oh my god, and he does it a lot, and sometimes it's perfect. Wolf of Wall Street, you don't even realize it's almost 3 hours long because it's so like it continues to go.
Yeah.
It's spiraling up, up, up. This is like there was a part where you figured out what they did, and then you're like, so this is 2.5 hours long, more longer than it needs to be. And it's just because you had big ass names in it that it got really popular. Like that's just how I felt about it.
I totally hear what you're saying. And yeah, I have a love-hate relationship to the long movie. It has to be, I think a long movie has to be epic. It has
to gotta continue to keep you involved.
Yeah, and it's not easy to do that. You know, that's why I love I think the perfect movie for length for a movie is 100 minutes. So that's an hour and 40 minutes. I think that's the perfect length. And you know, if it does go any longer than that, the movie has to be good to keep you engaged. And there are some
to continue exactly because, like I said, with Lord of the Rings, those are 300. Those are like 3 hours sometimes.
Yeah,
I think there's a 2 hour, and then they kind of progress, and the last one's like close to 303 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I've never once sat there like, when the fuck is this movie gonna be over? And I've watched it how many goddamn times now? Like it is those kinds of things. If you're not into it, do not watch it, of course. But if you're into sci-fi, the story continues, and it's never a dull moment. And when it is, there's information that you need to know, and it's like keeping you informed. It's not like, okay, now we're going in the car again, and we're driving, and we're doing nothing. We said fuck 5 times, and they're smoking cigarettes. And you're like, okay, so literally, what's the point? What are we doing? Where are we
Give some meaning for us.
Yeah.
Give some meaning.
Give me something. Shoot somebody.
Oh, absolutely. And also with the with my favorite TV shows, the ones that I go, you know, just quickly, Entourage. Yeah. It's not a quality watch. It's a fun watch.
I love Entourage.
Like sure. I debate with my friends in some group chats about Entourage. Like, I like the show. In fact, I like it a lot. It's my top 10. But it's not well written. It's horribly acted. It's annoying sometimes. It's gross. But it's just so much fun with the lavish lifestyle.
Yeah, it totally is.
But they think I'm an asshole for saying that, and that's why they don't have any artistic taste. And I've literally said that to them. For real. I mean, you really think?
You gotta like some other stuff.
I mean, what Vinny Chase's character development is, you know, there isn't any.
I love that one. I think it's like 42,000. Like, who cares? Shut up and enjoy it for what it is. You know.
Exactly.
Not trying to be anything other than that.
Right. So knowing that, I still enjoy the show a lot. But you know, it's not you're not exactly getting Emmys, although Jeremy Piven won. But we know some things can age well with him.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. A great show I love is called Crashing on HBO.
Yes.
You seen that?
I do know Crashing.
Oh, that's a solid 3 quick seasons, half an hour each. It's just like stand up trying to make it New York City. And maybe it's easier because we live in the area. Maybe it's more keen to us and interesting to watch, but I think it's a lot of fun.
I think it's something that a lot of people could watch. It shouldn't just be for, I think there's like something for everybody in that.
Oh yeah, especially the comedian aspect. 100%.
Yeah.
The Marvelous Miss Maisel, which I have right here.
Yeah. I got my parents onto that. We watched all of
my dad loves that show too. I did.
They literally sat and watched it all together. I was like, thank goodness, because it's that good of a show.
I love Mad Men. Mad Men's intense, and I love the nostalgic there. Saturday Night Live is 6. And my top 5 will never change. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. So it goes Atlanta, again back there. Better Call Saul, which we have a big final season coming up. Breaking Bad, Sopranos, and Curb Your Enthusiasm. Never changing. Never.
I can get behind most of those.
Really? Which one's the ones you don't feel for?
Well, more not that I don't feel for them, but just more like I can see how like Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are definitely high up there for me as well.
Best spinoff. Imagine having one of the best shows and the best spinoff.
Oh yeah. But like there's some new stuff that like give me those vibes. So if you ever watch Succession, I think you'd really enjoy it.
Yeah, I
because it
haven't
has-
yet. I want to.
It's only like 2 seasons, and the new season's coming out in a week or two. But it
Ooh.
has that corporate drama. That you really
Corporate
like.
drama.
Yeah, and they do something like, how do you word it? The way that they zoom in, they sometimes like double zoom in on a face, and it's in the point of like the conversation that like he just got fucked over or just roasted or like something's gonna happen. It's a drama, but there's these comedy like takes and the comedy like screen jump ins. They're like, oh, this is amazing. This is such a good show.
Comic
And
relief
it's
is
really
real.
oh my god, there's the actor Matthew Mcfadden who was in Pride and Prejudice years ago.
Shouts to our fellow Matthews.
Literally iconic. He is the comedic relief. Him and Nicholas Braun, I think you remember him too. He was like Disney, our age. The two of them are the comedic relief. They say and do things that are so stupid, but like they're so serious. Do you know what I mean? Like they should not be in the corporate world of New York, and they are. They think they're important, and they are not. And it's just, that's a really good show that I think it's new. It's only 2 seasons so far. It's not, they're not even close to being done with it, but it's something that I always recommend to a lot of people that like dramas.
I will definitely be seeing it very soon and let you know, and the audience know what I think. So.
And some new people coming in, like Alexander Skarsgård and Adrian Brody's going to be in it.
Adrian Brody, huh?
He was just in Peaky Blinders, which is another slammer. That's going to come back to, like, we were talking about this the other day. We have every month a new thing for like maybe the rest of to the end of 2022. There's something coming out like every month, and we're like, we can't keep up with this content.
I am not opposed to that. Thank you to our fellow content creators for making this possible.
Thank you. And streaming services, because I just watch it later.
Woo! Oh, Taylor. And is there any particular that you're really looking forward to? Whether it's like me and Wes Anderson's French Dispatch. I know you just said big sci-fi, so you must be excited for Dune. I feel like that's the most anticipated sci-fi.
That might be my biggest one right now. There is I got my nerdy Marvel stuff for the rest of the year. We got Eternals, we've got Spider-Man, all that stuff coming back.
Oh, and then that's gonna be insane.
And Dune I love because I know the old stuff, the old movie, and I'm like really ready to see how they take this spin on things.
The big moment for Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, he's such a sweet little white dude, and I'm like, just want to squeeze him. He's just so cute. I love him. But he's good. I like his acting.
He's a very talented actor, and he's pretty much on his. And if Dune works out well, he's pretty much A-lister for a long time, if not already. Pretty much is. Zendaya, one of the coolest,
literally
probably
everyone
celebs
in the
ever.
movie. There's going to be so many people in that movie that are huge. In like, I'm a huge fan of all of them. So, I think that might be my right now. Very excited for. But we've got a lot of like Star Wars stuff is coming back at the end of December. Like some shows are coming back that are like quality is like a movie. Like The Witcher, if you've ever watched that. The quality of every episode is like an hour long, and it's like cinematic history.
Yeah.
Like you're just like, whatever.
You're watching a short film.
Exactly.
That's why I love Breaking Bad.
The Marvel shows too. They've like really continued this like movie cinematic feel to it, with it just being an hour episode. And you're like, fuck.
That's how you know.
Billions of dollars.
Yeah, like the Breaking Bad has that feeling. The Better Call Saul. Are you up to date with Better Call Saul?
I got a few episodes, but I'm pretty much there.
So I don't want to accidentally spoil anything by accident. So I'll leave that for when you do watch it all. But that with the special final season.
I'm so glad that was the spinoff they did, because he literally is my favorite.
Yeah, he was my favorite. Bob Odenkirk as Saul Goodman, absolute favorite. And
hopefully he's doing good. I know he had some health issues recently.
Yeah, he had a heart attack. They survived. That was the weirdest day on Twitter. Like I was like very sad.
That messed me up.
I was glad that he recovered. So I mean, this has to to complete the Breaking Bad universe. I mean, it's gonna be one wild roller coaster. Like, I want to watch the last episode in a theater bad. Like, I would rent it out. That's what I'd want.
That would be a really cool thing to do.
Last two.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like you could. That would probably be a lot of money, but I feel like the movie theaters are doing anything right now to make money. So they'd probably be like, "Yeah, sure, you want to rent the theater out?"
If they did that, I'm watching the last 3 Better Call Sauls. And,
that would be so
enjoy
cool.
that. So yeah, we're gonna look forward to that, and then new Curb. So, and then seeing Larry's perspective on COVID-19, it's I could only imagine.
Yep. So, oh man.
So it's gonna be an epic time. But Taylor, this has been absolutely amazing from every single aspect from it. I really hope you want to come on again.
Yes, absolutely.
And I'd love you to be part of our setting up. So I have teams that cover football and baseball and basketball.
Well, I love football.
We could definitely nerd out on that for the next podcast. Just hope the Giants could turn around starting this week, or
we just be sad and depressed about it. It's fine. We've accepted it.
I don't know, Taylor. I can't take it again. But
I'm just gonna, more gray hairs, more wrinkles. It's fine. It's totally fine. 2 of our best players out. We don't even need to get into it. I can't even get into that right now.
At least Daniel Jones is looking good, promising.
You better, or I'm gonna go literally to the MetLife Stadium and be like, "Get your shit together."
I wonder what Daniel Jones is. I think he's only a year younger than us. I wonder what he's like going out.
That man smile. I've never seen that man smile once.
Yeah.
He's probably in the club like this.
It's funny. He's literally the same person Eli Manning is, but even talks less. Eli started to show his personality more.
Now
flipping the bird off.
I feel like he's comfortable now. I feel like he's out of the spotlight. He's like, no, I'm retired, homie. I'm good.
He's been amazing on the Monday Night Football.
Family. Yeah, he's cool. I love him.
And getting the respect he deserves.
Yeah, man, for real.
Yeah.
He's been so long a part of the Giants world and like the football community. Even if he wasn't the best, he was the best because he was a great person. Like, that's just what it is. And
in a time where everyone gets hurt, where we see players just taking vacations in other sports, he showed up every day. 240 straight games. That's the second most. And he's a Hall of Famer in my book. So
absolutely.
But anyways,
in this household.
There's one last thing I'd like to do, Taylor, and that's the Proust questionnaire. And it's just 10 short but deep questions. And then we'll sign off after that. So you ready for this?
Yes.
All right, Taylor, what's your favorite word?
Dude.
Dude?
That's my favorite.
You want to know? I love that word too. You seen the movie Good Burger, cinematic masterpiece? Good Burger?
I think that's where it all started. That's where it all started for me.
Ed was the first person to ever promote inclusion with "I'm a dude, he's a dude, she's a dude, because we're all dudes." Hey, he started it off. Why don't we?
Definitely work for me.
Why don't we play that more often for inclusion out
here? That's like my jam. That's my that movie is iconic. It's so bad. It's so good.
So bad. You're exactly. I mean, the premise is 2 fast food chains are beefing with each other. What's gonna happen?
And it's worse, but I love it.
Oh man, when Carmen Electra, he's one of the intense lines ever.
What happened there? Where did we get? How did that get even green light? Like, what happened?
Hey, the late '90s, man, and
they're big, and they still are. Keenan's still so
legend, huge. Absolute legend. Both of them. I still watch Keenan and Kel when I'm bored. Thanks to you, Paramount Plus. Oh, by the way, with the correspondence here, I would love you to be a part of that as we review towards award season next year. We can geek out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anytime. So my second question is, what's your least favorite word?
Fair.
Fair. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So this next question, as I say, everybody, for the dirty minds, especially. This question is not a sexual question. It's more of a life and fulfillment
Okay.
question. But what
Okay.
turns you on in this world?
Motivation.
That's what I'm looking for. I've heard awful answers for the subject that we just
Motivation
mentioned.
and compassion.
I love that.
Compassion for people around you, not just yourself. That's about it.
Being a genuine human being. I love that. So what turns you
Yeah.
off?
Cocky, douchebag, self-absorbed. That's about it.
Fair enough.
That's about it. Yeah.
What sound or noise do you love?
Crackling fires.
Oh, especially this time of year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
So having said that, what sound or noise do you hate?
When you use a fork and you scrape it through your teeth.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, the pain.
A lot of girly girls do that. They're like, yeah, I got my salad. And they go, and you're just like, ugh, ugh.
Stop
Just
being so
open your
basic.
mouth and close it.
Stop being so basic.
For real.
What's your favorite curse word?
Fuck. We definitely use that one a lot.
Bazinga. What profession other than your own would you like to attempt? Or the few of things you do?
I feel like it would still be in my profession, but like doing hair for movies and TV shows.
Oh, I believe in you, Taylor. You totally could do that.
It's a goal, but it's such a hard goal. It's like a 1 in a million shot. So, but that would be a fun thing to do.
Well, you have
or
my
even
support.
Make my own movie like that. I think that'd be fun.
Well, you have my support as well as the audience listening
you,
here.
Thank you.
Anytime. And what profession would you not like to do?
Accounting.
Seriously. My last question for today, before we have some final words, is if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say to you when you arrive at the pearly gates?
What the fuck is up, bro?
What the fuck is good, God?
What is up, Taylor? Welcome. This is my crib. Welcome to the crib. Your grandparents are right over there. Have some fun. We got some drinks.
Yep.
I would love it to be a fucking nightclub up there.
I literally picture like this is the end where people are just dancing and just
all the time. It's just a fun ass time. That's
Love
what you
it.
should have up there. It shouldn't be some like reserved feel. Like you should just be having fun up there.
Just have the feels. Just have the feels. Taylor,
Vibe, man.
what a debut. Amazing
Yes,
from
thank
every
you.
second. Can you just tell us one last time where we can find your Instagram if we want to check you out and the great things you're doing? And if we also want to use your services?
Yes, it's Taydrones_stylist. And you can find it on Google too. It's styling in Norwalk. And you could just hit me up whenever. I'd love that.
All right.
And watch ChicksTalksFlicks.
Yes.
Listen to ChicksTalksFlicks.
Listen to Chicks Talks Flicks, available on all podcasted platforms. We will include it right in the bio as well. So, Taylor, thank you so much for this.
Thank you. It was so good catching up with you.
Absolutely. And we got to do this very, very soon again. And
yes, absolutely.
We got some good vibes coming. So we appreciate you, Taylor. Thank you.
I love it. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon, bud.
Looking forward to it. That's a great Taylor Droney, everybody. And we'll see you really soon.